The moon is the same moon above you, aglow with its cool evening light, but shining at night in Tunisia. Never does it shine so bright. The stars are aglow in the heavens, but only the wise understand that shining at night in Tunisia, they guide you through the desert sand. Words fail to tell a tale too exotic to be told. Each night's a deeper night in a world ages old. The cares of the day seem to vanish. The ending of day brings release. Each wonderful night in Tunisia, where the nights are filled with peace. The moon is the same above you, aglow with its cool evening light, but shining at night in Tunisia, never does it shine so bright. The stars are aglow in the heavens, but only the wise understand that shining at night in Tunisia, they guide you through the desert sand. Words fail to tell a tale too exotic to be told. Each night's a deeper night in a world ages old. The cares of the day seem to vanish. The ending of day brings release. Each wonderful night in Tunisia, where the nights are filled with peace. The moon is the same up above you, aglow with its cool evening light, but shining at night in Tunisia, never does it shine so bright. The stars are aglow in the heavens, but only the wise understand that shining at night in Tunisia, they guide you through the desert sand. Words fail to tell a tale too exotic to be told. Each night's a deeper night in a world ages old. The cares of the day seem to vanish. The ending of day brings release. Each wonderful night in Tunisia, where the nights are filled with peace. Each wonderful night in Tunisia. The moon is the same moon above you, aglow with its cool evening light, but shining at night in Tunisia, never does it shine so bright. The stars are aglow in the heavens, but only the wise understand that shining at night in Tunisia, they guide you through the desert sand. Words fail to tell a tale too exotic to be told. Each night night's a deeper night in a world ages old. The cares of the day seem to vanish. The ending of day brings release. Each wonderful night in Tunisia, where the nights are filled with peace. The moon is the same above you, aglow with its cool evening light, but shining at night in Tunisia, never does it shine so bright. The stars are aglow in the heavens, but only the wise understand that shining at night in Tunisia, they guide you through the desert sand. Words fail to tell a tale too exotic to be told. Each night's a deeper night in a world ages old. The cares of the day seem to vanish.
It says recording over here.
We are recording, right?
Yay. Hey, I'm not even in the picture here.
Welcome, everyone. This is week 6 of Appreciating Jazz. And just to let you know, there are still 2 more sessions after this. Next week will be jazz fusion, modal jazz, and also coming after that, and cool jazz. Don't want to leave that out. And then finally, the last week will be what's going on with jazz now, world music, and all of the other ethnic influences, and an up-to-date showing of where jazz is at today. So you've been listening to Ella Fitzgerald sing the Charlie Parker Dizzy Gillespie classic, A Night in Tunisia. What I find really wonderful about this is how Ella takes the melody and just twists it every time she sings it. You know, this is her improvising, as Pat Metheny spoke about in the first section, and just makes it a little different every time. Now, while the melody, harmony, chords, and everything was written by Parker Gillespie, the words here were written by the vocalist Jon Hendricks. You're going to hear more about John in just a little while. Ella was really cool because she had perfect pitch. In fact, really perfect pitch. It was so perfect that bands, how perfect was it, right? The band she was in used to use her instead of an electronic device to tune up. She had a 3-octave range, and she started her approach to jazz singing and improvising working in Dizzy Gillespie's big band. In addition to these bop tunes, she also was a great ballad singer, and there's quite a bit of recordings of her and Louis Armstrong. Now, this perfect pitch thing, this is the ability without a reference tone to know exactly the name of the note that's being sung exactly. A very, very rare thing. Some others who had perfect pitch include Mozart, Jimi Hendrix, Bing Crosby, and Mariah Carey. I think it's something on the order of 1 in 10,000 have this capability. It's something you're generally born with, the predisposition, and then as you listen to music and learn a little bit about music, it gets associated with what the name of the notes are. Now, she was someone, Ella, who was known for not only having a beautiful quality of tone in her voice, but she also had wonderful phrasing, a great ability to improvise, not just changing the melody subtly, but also to do what's called scat singing. You know, singing just nonsense syllables and making up new melodies as if she was a saxophone or a trumpet. Now, a lot of vocalists like Ella and others, they came from the swing era, but they adapted very nicely to the bop era and just moved right into that. Now, someone who sings like this and scat singing, this was called vocalese. And their sense of pitch was so good, no auto-tune like contemporary singers use was necessary. That was all in their heads. And probably a lot better than the actual machinery doing that. So we're going to focus today at this session on the continuation of where Michael was talking about the rise of the jazz vocalist. There is no fall, so don't worry about that.
Ouch.
Ouch. Oh, ooh, that hurt. So we're going to look at how bop has influenced vocalists in the jazz era, and we're going to do a lot of listening to this as well.
The ending of day brings relief.
So I want to start off and have you listen to some really great singers, groups of singers together. One of them I want you to hear is Lambert, Hendricks, and Ross. They were a really, really big deal. Sold a lot of, I would say records, but if you remember what Michael spoke about, a lot of the music business was around jukeboxes and in what was called juke joints and places where people would listen to music. And quite a bit of their recordings were sold through that way. So they sang, Lambert, Hendricks, and Ross, bop tunes. They did a lot of scatting, just making up. And they also added words to existing melodies. And they were the inspiration behind groups you might know of like Manhattan Transfer, New York Voices, and many others. So we're going to start off with a song by Miles Davis called Four, from his album Four and More. And in this case, John Hendricks, one of the three, Lambert, Hendricks, and Ross, wrote the lyrics. The tune, while it's by Miles, the solo is Miles Davis's trumpet solo. But in this, John Hendricks wrote words to this in order to turn that solo into a vocalist. So let's listen to that.
The wonderful things that you get out of life, there are four. Baby, and there may not be many, but nobody needs any more.
Of the many facts making the list of life, truth takes the lead. And to relax, knowing the gist of life, it's truth you need.
And the second is honor, and happiness makes number three. When you put them together, you'll know what the last one must be. Baby, so the truth, honor, and happiness. And one thing more, meaning only wonderful, wonderful love that'll make it for.
Don't you know the score? Well, people when they're younger never realize the treasure life's got. But as they grow older, realize a lot. They got their mind on all the wrongest things and things that cost a lot of money, but it's really very funny. They fade away and don't amount to a hill of beans. Funny how the things in life we really should adore, we forget or ignore, end up poor. Making money till you're nigh onto madness and end up in sadness. Youth is the time when we should see the light. Cause when we're old and wasted, the due for what we've tasted runs so high that we pay till we die. Then we know that youth that made us strong is wasted on the young. So enjoy it gaily, love life, and live it daily. You'll find a lot of things to bring you joy and give peace of mind. Get it while the getting's good, and everybody, if they only could, life would be a set, life would be a groovy set. Groovy is a movie. Well, well, let your voice be heard. Spread the word. Everybody hears God is. Only gotta teach them how to use them, not abuse them. So take a tip from me. The world's everything it ought to be, as long as you can be sure there is no more to life than same old four.
Hard to believe, I know, but time will show that even though you think it's foursome, two and two together constitute a foursome. That's all, four is the figure, that's all. Ain't gonna be getting any bigger, doesn't matter how you slice it up, you'll never change it. You count everything that fate throws into life's pot, still, really four is all you got. Haven't I told you about the little pleasures that are part of all the rest? You love a little and live a little and take a little and give a lot, still the total is happiness. but that's only one. You've just begun. There's gonna be more. After this, the truth and honor shining, and love combining to make it four.
Babies know the truth, honor and happiness. And one thing more, meaning love, and that's the real story. More than enough for some, and for they may not come from a lot. Still, you only got those more. There ain't no more. Ain't no more.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that. I was bopping here on my side. It's so cool how they do their solos and then they join in as an ensemble, as if they're almost like a big band, playing these great swing licks behind it. Again, they're all, writing, the words are all coming from Miles Davis, the recording, his solo as well, but the words they wrote themselves. Now, in case you were, wondering, this is extremely difficult to do. These are very complicated melodies. Some of the notes change quickly. It's not at all like singing a folk tune. You've got to fit those words in, enunciate, hit the right pitch, and at the same time swing like hell. And that's what they're so great at doing. I saw Jon Hendricks live himself in Greenwich Village a number of years ago, singing with the singer Bobby McFerrin, which you're going to hear a little bit more about in a little while there as well. So I want to play another tune here, and the next one we're going to have Jon Hendricks of Lambert, Hendricks and Ross. This is later on in life, singing with his wife Judith, and they're going to take a swing tune, Count Basie, Jumpin' at the Woodside, and add their touch to this. And this is on my wish list for next year to do with the PC Jazz Band. Oh, and by the way, we did 4. We did it this year, in fact, Michael, right?
Right.
Yeah. Without the vocals. Maybe next year with our new singer, we'll try that. If she's listening, we'll see. Stay tuned. Who knows?
I gotta go on a road. I gotta go on a road. A lot of fun. I gotta run. No, little mansion, it ain't no motel. I'm telling you what it is. Bet you never heard of such a good hotel. Papa Roo and Eddie Ring it in. I everybody has a ball of all you mean. It's all that you mean as soon as you get a chance to do it. You can go out alone and what's out there. All around you, women, why you dig it? Everybody has a ball of themselves. Oh, I can tell. I'm in a jumper geek, tight number we can never have to wonder around the room to find a place because the number really going on. You can dig it and you'll have a ball at home. Dig it, you flip it, swell. I dig the woodside man, that's where I dwell. I tell you, you man, brother, really have a ball at hotel. Looba dooba dooba whippy doo dee way, baba, bop, bep, bit, dooba doop, doop, bip. Wiggly, abo, bop, libbit, bit, doop, bit, doop, bit. Libbity, bibbit, up, bit, up, bip, up, dooba, wibbly, bip, bit, dip, bit, up, doodly, dip, dooby, bit, up. Way, baba, bop, baby, baby, up, but up, bop, do it. Don't be you bet, bit, dooba, wibbly, you bit, up, bop, lib, up. Dooba, da, bow, wow, bop, dooba, dooba, bop, 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 bet, baby, bop, the dreamy, dip, bet, never, oh, baba, bop. Bow, bow, bow. Bow, bow, bow. Bow, bow, bow.
I wanna jump, wanna fall, I wanna swing, and I wanna dance. Man, I really wanna rock. That's right, man, really wanna get it. I'm ready for
Okay, we're going to move on a little bit from Jon Hendricks here. We're going to take a swing back to Ella Fitzgerald, and we're going to play a Duke Ellington song called It Don't Mean a Thing If It Ain't Got That Swing. And of course, that's something that the jazz band here has played and will play again. Now, if you listen closely and you listen to the piano solo, there's a brief one from Duke Ellington, you're going to hear a quote of Satin Doll. A quote is when a jazz musician figures out how to play the melody of a completely different song briefly in the middle of their solo. Somehow get it to fit the timing, somehow get it to fit the key and the chords that the rhythm section is playing. Again, it might sound like, oh, well, that's no big deal. You just do that, but try it. It's not all that easy to do. So this is pretty cool. One of the things I want to mention about Ella is that musicians loved to work with her. Now, that's not always the case. A lot of times musicians, you use a vocalist, you love vocals, you want to have that. But a lot of the vocalists aren't really musicians, so they don't know keys or they don't necessarily sing exactly well in tune. It's always quite a challenge for the musicians who are, more educated in their craft. But Ella was the other way around. She was a musician's musician, and they loved her. And you can see why she had such a wonderful career. So we're going to listen to Ella right now, and we're going to do It Don't Mean a Thing If It Ain't Got That Swing with Duke Ellington. You can see how happy Duke was to have her sing his tune there. He was ecstatic. I hope you picked up that little quote on Satin Doll. It passed by really quickly as well, but she is amazing. So I'm skipping around on the slide a little bit. I'm going to go up to one of the earlier bullets here. I want to show you something, how a song evolves. There was a great song by the saxophonist Wardell Gray, and it's called Twisted, and I bet you know this song, but you probably think of it a little different. So let's hear the original on sax, just a brief part of that we're going to hear. Okay, that was the original Twisted, written by Wardell Gray. Now I'm going to play another version of this by Lambert, Hendricks, and Ross. And you're going to hear a really interesting thing here as well. This is, at the time, live from the Playboy Club. And you're going to see Hugh Hefner there as well. And you're going to see a young Tony Bennett in the audience. And Lambert, Hendricks, and Ross are going to be accompanied by none other than Count Basie on keyboards, Freddie Green on guitar, and a number of other of his great players.
We've had just about everything this evening. Everybody's doing little bits and pieces. How about doing a solo song for us? Maybe.
All right.
Would you?
Can I do something I wrote?
Love to have you do something you wrote.
All right.
Yeah.
You know, could you hold on a second? Everybody goes to analysts nowadays. Well, about 5 years ago, I wrote a thing about going to an analyst and finding out that it wasn't really too bad when you discover that you've got two heads instead of one. It's called twisting. My analyst told me that I was right out of my head. He described it. He said I'd be better dead than alive. I didn't listen to his jive. I knew all along he was all wrong, and knew that he thought I was crazy, but I'm not. Oh no. My analyst told me that I was right out of my head. He said I need treatment, but I'm not that easily led. He said I was the type that was most inclined, went out of his sight to be out of my mind, and he thought I was nuts. No more ifs or ands or buts. Oh no.
Oh no. Oh no.
Say, as a child, I appeared a little bit wild with all my crazy ideas, but I knew what was happening. I knew I was a genius. What's so strange when you know that you're a wizard at 3? I knew that this was meant to be. Well, I heard little children were supposed to sleep tight. That's why I drank a fifth of vodka one night. My parents got frantic, didn't know what to do. But I saw some crazy scenes before I came to. Now, do you think I was crazy? I may have been only 3, but I was swinging. They all left at A. Graham Bell. They all left at Edison and also at Einstein. So why should I feel sorry if they just couldn't understand the reasoning and the logic that went on in my head? I had a brain, it was insane, so I would just let them laugh at me when I refused to ride on all those double-decker buses, all because there was no driver on the top. were dead and alive. I didn't listen to his jive. I knew all along he was all wrong, and that he thought I was crazy, but I'm not. Oh no. Oh no. My analyst told me that I was right out of my head, but I said, dear doctor, I think that it's you instead, 'cause I have got a thing that's unique and new. It proves that I'll have the last laugh on you, 'cause instead of one head, I got two. And you know, two heads are better than one.
Okay, so you may have heard that before. So a couple of interesting things. First off, musicians, especially singers, can have big egos. If you noticed, Annie Ross, who is terrific, by the way, she says she wrote that. Well, not completely true. If you remember, Wardell Gray wrote the music. She wrote the words. Now, it's very impressive what she did, no question about it, but she didn't bother to mention that it's Wardell Gray's song or anything like that. So, not good. And you also may know Joni Mitchell recorded this song. And if you look at the Joni Mitchell album, it says all tunes written by Joni Mitchell. So either Joni was a little bit egotistic there and thought nobody ever heard of Lambert Hendrickson Ross, which has got to be crazy, or her record company did it, but there was no mention of Annie Ross or Wardell Gray. So that's bad on Joni and on Annie as well too. All right, let's go in another direction here. I want to have you listen to Sarah Vaughan. Sarah Vaughan is a vocalist. She had a 4-octave range and a wonderful, wonderful tone. She was great at scat singing and doing the stuff that Ella did, but here I'm going to have you listen to her interpret a ballad by Errol Gardner called Misty. What I find really special about Sarah is just the quality of tone in her voice, this beautiful soft vibrato that starts slow and then gets a little faster. With her range and control, she probably could have been very successful as an opera singer as well. But I'm really glad she didn't. And then she went into jazz instead. So let's listen to Sarah.
Look at me. I'm as helpless as a kitten up a tree. Feel like I'm clinging to a cloud I can't understand. I get misty just holding your hand. Walk my way, and 1,000 violins begin to play. Might be the sound of your hello, that music I hear. I get misty the moment you're near. You can see that you are leading me on, and it's just what I want you to do. Don't you notice how hopelessly I'm lost? That's who I'm following you on my own. Would I wander through this wonderland alone? my hat from my glove. I'm too misty and too much in love. You can see that you're leading me on, and it's just what I want you to do. Don't you notice how hopelessly I'm lost? That's who I'm following you on my own. Would I wander through this wonderland alone, never knowing my right foot from my left, my hat from my glove? I'm too misty and too much in love. We get too misty and too much in
Well, I hope you like that as much as I did. It's really like amazing how she improvises. She's not scatting there. She's subtly changing the melody, emphasizing different syllables differently, and she's twisting it and making it her own. And that's jazz. That's what somebody asked me, well, a lot of these songs are standards. What's the difference between singing a standard and being a jazz vocalist singing a standard? And right there, you just got the textbook example of what the difference is. She made that song her own. She changed the way the melody worked just slightly and made it better and made it her own. So let's go on. We're going to move on to Billie Holiday, who I'm all sure you're very familiar with. She was nicknamed Lady Day. That nickname came from the great alto saxophonist Lester Young, who we talked about at the end of last week's session. He was known as Pork Pie Hat, and Charlie Mingus celebrated that in his Goodbye Pork Pie Hat song. Now, unlike the other singers we've been talking about, she only had barely a 2-octave vocal range. But what she was really renowned for was the quality of her voice and how original it sounded, her delivery, phrasing, and how she interpreted music. Unfortunately, if you know her story, she had a lot of substance abuse and legal problems, and this was documented in a couple of movies and stage plays as well. And unfortunately, she was hounded, like a few others, by the FBI to stop singing her song that was about lynching, which, we're going to hear in a moment. And that's really the subject matter of Strange Fruit. So let's listen to Billie Holiday sing that. She's accompanied by Tab Smith on alto, Stan Payne, Kenneth Holland on tenor sax, Ellerton White on piano, John Williams bass, Jimmy McLean guitar, Eddie Dougherty on drums.
Southern trees bear strange fruit, blood on the leaves and blood at the root, black bodies swinging in the southern breeze, strange fruit hanging from the poplar trees. Pastoral scene of the gallant South, the bulging eyes and the twisted mouth, scent of magnolia, sweet and fresh. Then the sudden smell of burning flesh. Here is a fruit for the crows to pluck, for the rain to gather, for the wind to suck, for the sun to rot, for the tree to drop. Here's a strange and bitter
Yeah, I know. It's kind of hard to listen to that. It's, sad, upsetting, but certainly music and words that needed to be heard. She was another really musician's musician, among the few. She went on and she was a band leader too when she went out as a soloist. She wasn't just a vocalist with some other band as well. We'll play a little bit in a little while from the movie that was done on her recently. But let's move in another direction. I want to have you listen to another great singer, Carmen McRae. She was a vocalist, composer, pianist, and what she was really known for was having an extraordinary sense of time. And she's going to sing the Thelonious Monk tune that we did with the jazz band last week called Round Midnight. Sometimes it's erroneously called Round About Midnight, but the actual is Round Midnight. She's on vocals, Norman Simmons piano, Victor Sproles bass, Walter Perkins on drums here. And the words for this, and Cootie Williams on trumpet, and Thelonious Monk was the writer of the music, but in this case the words were written by Bernie Hannigan. Let's listen to Carmen McRae.
A pale and lonely moon lights the sky in the dark before the dawn. I sit here in my room, how I sigh for the day that's come and gone. Another lonely day passes by, and a new day's coming on. at midnight. Tears I've shed today will pause, waiting until tomorrow. Dreams of what could be come close to me timidly. There's a brand new day inside. At that time, round about midnight, life's a game of chance, and you're one of the minor players. Look for what you love, the day to come, harbor some. Let your eyes put out their light. At that time, round about midnight, every day's gonna bring some sadness. Every day's gonna bring some gladness. So take what you can of the glad times. Don't measure your pleasure in nickels and dimes. Look back on today, and you know when you've been unhappy. Fears dawn chased away, just might at night have their day. Let your spirit stop the fight. At that time, round about midnight, I'll think no more about today. For in a while, this old day will be yesterday. Alone at midnight here in my room, I sit here in the gloom and let my dreams take flight round about midnight.
Okay, that was Carmen McRae doing Round Midnight. So I want to listen to just a little bit of the next song. We have so much great music in this presentation. You can't really play all of it and can't play all of it all the way through. But we did put it in a document on the Pelican Cove website, along with the slides for each presentation as we do them, where you can go from that document to the original videos that we sourced and hear these in their entirety. And I strongly recommend you do, because they're such a great example of jazz. So let's look at Chick Corea and Bobby McFerrin, who you may know of from some of his pop songs, interpreting Round Midnight as a duo. And we're only going to listen to part of this. Sorry to cut that short, but I think it's wonderful, but I think you're going to need to go and listen to it. It's about 5.5 minutes long, and it's amazing. Chick Corea, we're going to cover in next week. We'll be talking more about him. He recently passed away. His first gig was with Cab Calloway. It's interesting. Then he went on to, with a great career with Miles Davis, and then became a successful band leader as a soloist. And then in his fusion group, Return to Forever. And we'll hear more of them in week 7 or 8. He won over 25 Grammy Awards and is considered one of the greatest jazz pianists ever. All right, but more on him later. I would like to go somewhere different. We're going to listen to a little bit of Mel Torme. Now, Mel Torme was a singer known as the Velvet Fog, but he was also the obsession with a character on an old TV show called Night Court, if you remember that.
Speak to me, Mel. I need you. I need somebody.
Excuse me, I need somebody. I got these 2 lunatics chasing me. Hello? Hello? Everybody here is nuts.
Yes.
Oh, excuse me, I didn't think you heard me. Never mind.
I said yes. Oh, for Pete's sake, some people. If you need something, why don't you just... Coming! Yeah.
Your Honor, Leon's gone.
Call me back.
He ran away from Mrs. London, that couple.
I knew that was gonna happen. Come on.
Excuse me, I didn't... Hello? Now! That way! Right! Look, you're gonna have to call him back. Don't ever change. I mean it.
Well, I hope you enjoyed a little bit of humor, a blast from the past there as well. So let's take Mel in a different direction, more than just looking in the mirror. Let's listen to him looking into the microphone. We're going to listen to him singing Love for Sale with none other than Buddy Rich, who was a great drummer, played with Charlie Parker. If you remember the old Johnny Carson show, he was on all the time doing drum battles with Ed Shaughnessy. Hopefully our drummer friend in the audience have seen some of those. Otherwise, he should definitely tune into those on YouTube. They're classic. I think there's even one where Johnny Carson himself played the drums there as well, too. Now, they're doing this, they're going to do Love for Sale, a tune by Cole Porter, on the Merv Griffin Show. And also, interesting side note, Merv Griffin was a singer in big bands, and he composed the Jeopardy theme song called Think. Now, these guys have what musicians call chops. They are just amazing what they can do. They do a lot of teasing, but they were great friends. And you'll notice in this, they do some great trading fours. That's musicians talk, where one musician solos a phrase for 16 beats, and then another one follows up and tries to either continue it, or if their ego's good, to try to outdo it. Let's listen to these guys and see how they do.
You remember all those old vaudeville shticks, don't you? Oh, that's right. Very old man. Now, are we all set? 1, 2, 2, 2, with your bum. Hold it.
Wrong tempo.
Here's the tempo.
What's the tempo?
Read my lips. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nice. Love for sale. Appetizing young love for sale. Love is fresh and still unspoiled. Love is only slightly soiled. Love for sale. Who will buy? Who would like to sample her supply? Who would care to pay the price? Or a little quieter, it's a vocal. Love for sale. That poet's pipe of love in that childish way. She's known every type of love better far than they. She's known every thrill of love. She's been through the mill of love. Oh, love, new love, every love but true love for sale. Appetizing young love for sale. If you want to buy her wares, follow her and climb the stairs. Love, choo-ba-doo-dee, boo-doo-dee, 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 boo-doo-dee-doo-doo, down. Poet's pipe of love in that childish way. She's known every type of love better far than they. She's known every thrill of love. She's been through the mill of love. Oh.
I hate to cut it there, but it's because it's so cool. But amazing display of physicality as a drummer there that he was showing. The trading fours is pretty cool too. So let's move.
As a violinist, it looks exhausting to play the drums. I'm telling you, that's very physical.
So here's a strange story in the area of jazz. This is the story of Ruth Oley. Ruth Oley was a white Jewish woman who was persuaded by her band leader, Benny Carter, very famous American jazz saxophonist, to pose as a black woman in his band. Now, this was not her idea at all, but she had a darkish complexion and she had curly hair, and he was touring the South. Now, if you saw the movie The Green Book, you can just imagine the commotion that would have occurred with a white Jewish woman singing with an all-black band. I can't even imagine how bad that would go. So he convinced her to avoid the troubles, not to say that she was black, but just to not say, and given the way she looked, to just go along with the backstory that she was a black woman. And by the way, she was the daughter of a rabbi, just to give it even more of a little twist to that as well. She was really Hungarian and not black at all. She had a bit of an operatic voice, but she definitely swung. Not so much bop, but I wanted to put her in here because she just died a couple of months ago, and it's such an unusual story. She was pretty successful. She was on Johnny Carson, Jack Parr, quite a bit. I'm going to play a little bit of a tune of hers that she recorded called Blues for Weepers. We haven't really done much blues today, so that's a good one. 1966 with Victor Feldman on piano and vibes, Herb Ellis on guitar, great Ray Brown on bass, Al Hendrickson, I think on drums at this point. Okay.
The gay lights of glamour are darkened by drama, by the blues that are sing for a theme of the sob singing sisters, all those torch-bearing misters who just come to listen and dream. So
yeah, because I didn't want to listen to too much. Okay, we're back. So I wanted to play just a little bit of that. And look her up. Interesting story. Her name she used when she was touring with Benny Carter was Rachel Davis. I guess that sounded better than Ruth Oley, which might have given more of a clue to the audience. All right, you're probably wondering when we get to this guy. So this is Frank Sinatra. He, as many jazz musicians, did not call himself a jazz singer. Instead, he called himself a saloon singer. Now, I've been to many bars. I'm not sure which of those were really saloons. I'm not sure if that's a euphemistic thing or whether there really was a place called a saloon where there was smoke, jukeboxes, romance, soft jazz music. Maybe that's only in the songs that Frank sang. But this was, as he says, music about love lost or found when swing could bring the swagger and solace. There you go. So as a jazz singer, again, not calling himself that, it's not that he improvised in terms of scat singing like Ella. It's that he subtly would change the phrasing of a song, sing like a half a beat later, behind the beat as they called it. And this was his subtle improvisation that made the song his own and what made him be what most refer to as a jazz singer. And jazz improvisation is doing it on the spot. He would never sing these songs exactly twice in a row during his heyday. It was how he felt at the time. And jazz singers make the listener tap their feet, click your fingers, or nod your head. There's just something about that innate pulse in the music that affects you. So let's listen to a little bit of Frank. Here we're going to do a live cut of him with Louis Armstrong singing Birth of the Blues.
Say, Professor A.
Say that, Professor S.
Shall we delve into the history of the BLUZ?
Yeah, and it proceed.
These are the blues. Nothing but blues. The blues. Oh, they say some people long ago were searching for a different tune, one that they could croon, only they can. They only had the rhythm, so they started swinging to and fro. They didn't know just what to use. This is how the blues really began.
They heard the breeze in the tree singing melody,
And they made that the start of the blues.
Yes, and here's another thing, Daddy.
What's that?
And from the jail, they came away, harbor down, hearted frail.
Oh, she was a frantic chick.
Was she?
And they played that. They played it as part of the blues. From a whippoorwill up on a hill, they grabbed a new note.
Hate to cut it, but there's more I want to get to as well. What you should notice is I mentioned jazz. Every night they're doing it a little different. Well, as Frank sings it a little different, Louis doing his little trumpet fills differently. As Louis played something, well, Frank's going to adjust and play or sing what he's going to do slightly differently based on that. That's jazz. Now, let's move on to another song that we did with the jazz band called The Lady is a Tramp. And no, this is not The Lady and the Tramp. Haha. This is a show tune from Rodgers and Hart musical Babes in Arms. And it's not misogynistic. It's really a spoof of high society, where you have to look right, have dinner at 8, show up late on purpose so that you look stylish. Some of them fall asleep in the opera, arrive late at it to be seen and all of that. Well, here they're making fun of this, and the lady in the song doesn't do anything, and they're really honoring her. We're going to hear two versions of this, so let's listen to Frankie. We're going to save some of the remaining songs till next time, but I want to play one more tune before we go. This is a jazz standard called Let's Fall in Love, and it's going to be performed by none other than Rich and Rose.
I love this song. This is going to be. I love the way Diane Krall does it, and I'm glad we're doing her version. Our way. I've got a feeling, it's a feeling I'm concealing. I don't know why. It's just a mental, sentimental alibi. But I
I go on stalling, I am falling, our love is calling, why be shy? Let's fall in love, why shouldn't we fall in love? Our hearts are made of it, let's take a chance, why be afraid of it? Let's close our eyes and make our own paradise. Little we know of it, still we can try to make a go of it. We might have been meant for each other, to be or not to be, let our hearts discover. Let's fall in love, why shouldn't we fall in love? Now is the time for it while we are young. Let's fall in love. Have been meant for each other, to be or not to be, let our hearts discover. Let's fall in love, why shouldn't we fall in love? Now is the time for it while we are young. Let's fall in love. Let's fall in love. Let's fall in love. I love when you end on that chord.
Okay, everyone. Thank you so much for listening. I'll send a follow-up email with a copy of the slides, and we'll get a recording of this as well. And please come next week. We'll do a little bit more of those vocalists, and then we'll start heading down into cool jazz, modal jazz as well. See you next time.